Hi, I hope you enjoyed task 1 of the Legal Apprentice. In this video, you will see 2 examples of a witness interview. The first example will be an example of how you shouldn't do a witness interview. The second clip will show you exactly how it should be done. Pay attention to the do's and don'ts, as they'll come in really useful for the assessment in task 2.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I went to the completely wrong room. I didn't check my emails to see that our meeting had been moved. Okay, so Jean Smith, is it?
Jane.
Right, yes. Oh, I'm so sorry. Jane, yes, absolutely. So we're here today so that I can take a witness statement from you. At the moment, we're just dealing with liability. So I have some questions to ask you. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So you were in a car crash.
Yes.
Let's start with how fast you were driving. You weren't going over the limit, were you?
No, I wasn't speeding.
Okay, great. And as far as you're concerned, this wasn't your fault?
No,
Okay.
no. It was that idiot who just came out of nowhere.
Some people really shouldn't be on the road, should they? Right, so tell me what happened that afternoon.
Okay, so I'd been at work. I left at 3. I left at 3:45. I had a meeting. I went and got some food, picked up the dry cleaning, spoke to my son, Danny. He was supposed to be seeing his friends. He was going to have to come back for tea after all. Went and picked up my daughter Louise. She was at a dance rehearsal. I spoke to her coach because she had a competition that was coming up, but that didn't happen because she got injured.
Before we get to that, can you tell me about the crash itself?
Yes. Okay, so I was driving along the road. This guy comes out of nowhere. He came up from a side street, just went straight over the line, smashed into me. He came over, he got out of his car, came over to the side, was standing next to Louise, shouting at us. Louise was screaming, crying. I hurt my neck, and it was only because some other guy came over and intervened that things didn't kick off even more. And I'm really sorry. It just makes me so angry. I just don't know what could have happened. With Louise being injured and missing the competition, and it just makes me infuriated. I'm sorry.
Look, I know you're angry, Jane, sorry. But we need to get on with things here, okay? And Louise, she's okay now, isn't she?
She is, but that isn't the point. She was injured at the time. She had to miss a competition that she'd been planning for ages.
And where was your son in all this?
He was at his friend, like I said.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Well, this is clearly not your fault. He pulled into you after all. You didn't see him, did you?
No. He came up to the line, drove straight past me, straight over the line. I tried to slam on the brakes, but by then it was too late and he just smashed straight into me.
So there was damage to the car, maybe an injury? And how much did this cost you?
About £850. And also the insurance, because I had to borrow my sister's car.
And how much was the insurance?
£160.
Well, that's all I need for now. Do you have any questions?
Yes. Am I going to have to go?
Oh no, actually, sorry. What exactly was damaged?
The car smashed into my front bonnet, the side panel, wing mirror smashed, wheel and axle.
Right, okay. Well, thanks very much. Do you have any questions?
Yes. Am I going to have to go to court?
Maybe, yes. We're going to submit your witness statement and your particulars of claim. That will cover the liability and quantum. And they'll have 14 days to respond in writing to let us know what they say. If they contest this, then we may have to have a look at a trial because they might want to ask you some more questions.
What are they going to ask me?
They'll just be trying to suggest that you're wrong and that it's your fault probably. But we can discuss that nearer the time.
Okay.
Great. We'll be in touch. Good morning, my name's Simran and I'm an associate here at Queensford Wakely. It's lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for coming into our offices today.
Not at all.
Would you like a tea or coffee?
No, water's fine, thanks.
Okay, lovely. Let me know if you do want one.
Of course.
I'm just going to open this up so that I can have a look at all of the questions I'd like to ask you today.
Of course.
So we spoke briefly on the phone last week about what happened, and the purpose of the meeting today is just for me to gather a bit more information about the crash on the 16th of September last year. I know you've already told me a brief outline of what happened, but there are just some things I'd like some further details on, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Lovely. And after we've finished the interview today, I will draft everything up into a witness statement and then I'll send it to you for checking.
Sounds fine, thanks.
Lovely. And if you do have any questions, please just ask me at any time.
I will.
Okay. I'm going to start just by setting the scene, if that's okay.
Of course.
So you were driving with your daughter and she'd been at dance practice. What time was this, approximately?
Dance practice had finished at 5:30. Then I'd had to speak to Louise's coach about a competition that she had coming up.
Okay.
I think so by the time that we were in the car, it was about 1:45. The crash itself happened about 6. I remember because I checked the clock because I was trying to get home in time for my son Danny, who was coming back from a friend's house.
Okay. And what was the weather like just before the crash?
It had been raining earlier in the afternoon, but it was sunny at that point.
And was the road surface dry or was it wet?
It was dry by then.
Right, okay, dry. And what type of road was it? Was it a dual carriageway or a country lane?
So at that point, it's 2 lanes of traffic, one each way. I had just come out of the village at that point there was a side road that the guy just came straight out of, smashed into me.
Okay, so you came out of the village, and was there a speed limit at that point?
Yes, we were still in the 30 zone.
Okay, 30. And do you know what speed you were driving at?
Oh, I do actually. I was going at 27 miles an hour. I know that because we just drove past the school and they have one of those flashing boards that tells you your speed.
Okay, and you said that the driver came out of nowhere.
Yes.
So at what point did you first see him?
So as I was approaching the junction, I saw that he was also coming up to the junction. I thought he was going to stop, obviously, but then by the time that I realised he was not going to stop, it was too late. I slammed on the brakes, but he just came straight and smashed into me. He got out of his car, came over to me, started shouting in at the window, and then effing and blinding, all sorts. And if some other guy hadn't come over to intervene, calmed him down, I don't know what would have happened. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It just makes me so angry.
Yeah.
It's all too much. He's there shouting at my daughter, who is injured. She's upset, and I think what could have happened, and in fact what did happen, missing the competition, everything that she was just so looking forward to.
All right, that's fine. Just let me know when you need to take a break, and that's absolutely fine. So we've covered the driving conditions and what happened during the crash. I'd like to talk about the impact, starting with Louise.
Yep.
I understand that she needed medical treatment.
So we called an ambulance. They checked her out, took her to hospital. She hurt her leg, and she also had bruising from the seatbelt where she'd, when the car braked.
And you mentioned that she missed a competition.
Yes, it's the regional heats. That was going to be the weekend after.
Right. And how did that affect her?
Oh, she was devastated. She was really looking forward to it. There'll be another one next year, but she had a really good routine and her coach thought she had a really good shot.
And did that have a financial impact at all?
Thankfully, no. I hadn't paid the balance yet, so no.
And can you describe Louise's recovery from her injury?
The first week she was on crutches and she had one of those boots for her leg. Then she had to have physiotherapy after that.
And did you pay for the physiotherapy?
I did.
Do you have receipts for that?
I think so, yes, I think in my email.
Okay, well, I always send a follow-up email after the interview just to outline what we've discussed, and I will make a note in the email. It would just be really helpful if you could please provide a copy of the receipt, and we will discuss any other payments that you've had to make as a result of the crash as well.
Fabulous, thanks.
So where is Louise now in terms of her recovery?
Oh, she's back to normal now. Yeah, she's still dancing.
Okay. And emotionally, has this had an impact on her in any way?
Yes, she wouldn't get in the car for about a few weeks afterwards. She had nightmares. I think she's better now, but you never know.
And you mentioned on the phone last week that you had to take some time off work.
Yes.
Why was that?
So I hurt my neck as well from the crash. And because my job involves carrying boxes, walking around, standing a lot, I was just in too much pain.
Okay. And in terms of damage to your vehicle, has that been repaired?
Yes.
Okay.
It was about 850 in the end. And I also had to pay for insurance because I had to borrow my sister's car.
Okay. And do you have copies of receipts for those payments as well?
Yes.
Okay, lovely. I'll also mention those in the email.
Thanks.
Now, the final point, just before we wrap up, you mentioned that somebody got involved and helped out after the crash.
Yes.
Can you tell me about this person?
Yes, so I noticed him when the guy was shouting in our window and he came over and got the guy to calm down. I don't know where he was or where he'd come from.
Okay. Do you know if he saw what happened?
Yes, I think he did because he said, oh, that guy just pulled out without looking or without stopping, something like that.
Great. And did you get his details by any chance?
I did.
Okay, excellent. Would you be able to send those to me as well?
Sure, I'll look them out and email you.
Thank you, that'd be really helpful. Okay, I'm just going to check that I've covered everything that I wanted to cover with you today.
Of course.
So that's everything that I wanted to ask you at this stage. I will now draft up all of the information that you've told me into a witness statement for you, and then I'll send it to you for checking. And once you're happy with the contents of the statement, you can sign it and return it to me. Is that okay?
Yes.
Do you have any questions for me at this stage?
Yes, I was wondering if I was going to have to go to court.
Okay, well, we're not sure about that at this point. Once we've got all of your evidence and your statement, we will collate it and we'll send it to the other driver's solicitor. And if what they say differs from what you say, then there is a possibility that we may need to go to court. But at that point, we will have another conversation. I'll let you know what to expect. Is that okay?
Thanks.
Lovely. And is there anything else?
No, I think that's it. Thank you.
Okay. I'll send you an email just summarising what we've talked about and just outlining my request for those documents. If you could send them whenever you have a chance, that would be really helpful.
Of course.
Well, thank you very much for coming in. If you do have any questions, please just give me a call at any time. I'd be more than happy to answer them for you.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in.